Welcome everybody to this second edition of On Enclosed Spaces in the Great Outdoors. The first edition of the On Enclosed Spaces in the Great Outdoors took place in Amsterdam in 2015, and it was a reflection about whether it was possible to extend the notion of participation to non-human actors. And today we want to reflect on how to think theater in the time of climate change. So let's imagine a group of people in the foyer of a theater. They are waiting for the door to open. It opens and they enter the theater. When everybody is inside, the door is closed behind them. There's no tribune, no stage. It is an enclosed space, and what people share is as thin as the air. The air that was there before they entered, the air that now mingles with the air that all of them carried inside. Each one for herself or himself. They breathe the air together now. They all share the air now. Somehow they have to negotiate it. There is something at stake here. A fragile balance of some kind. The temperature rises. There is also some dust in the game. The dust that was sleeping for years in those curtains. The dust that was carried inside by some people or that slipped inside while the door was open. Maybe some of it comes from the construction works at the other side of the road. Maybe some of it crossed oceans before arriving here. There are some vapors expanding in the space, gaseous fluids, smells, all of this in a mutual interaction. The material, the anthropos, the barely visible, the immaterial. They intermingle, they process, they transform. They have to negotiate with one another. Something is at stake here. The anthropos holds its breath. Something is at stake here.
So welcome to Unenclosed Spaces in the Great Outdoors. There is the enclosed space of this theater. There is the great outdoors out there, and some particles might have slipped in with you coming in, with or without our noticing. Apart from the material space outside, we can also think about the great outdoors or the outside. It's actually a translation of Le Grand Dehors of Quentin Meillassoux, philosopher. So we can also think of climate change as a sort of hyper-object that is widely distributed, entangled and constantly transforming. So it's so wide, so huge and hard to grasp that it challenges our imagination, our understanding, our perception, our sensory apparatus. So the question is for today, sort of the first intuition, how can art and imagination relate to this sort of hard to grasp phenomena, the invisibilities, the imagination, what does it do to us? And also that there is an invitation to look at theater differently. Theater, this very theater, but also theater as an art form, art at large, imagination, the senses, and so on. So how can we discover them differently in light of these questions? We, so that is David Weber-Krebs and me, Jeroen Peeters, we have invited 9 people, artists and theoreticians, that we thought they have things to share about this, these questions. We have invited them here. We entered into dialogue with them a while ago and shared the questions and saw what came back. They brought our initial questions to very different directions than we could have imagined actually. And it's a first for us as well today. So it'll be a day of creations, and how things are going to resonate together, we don't know yet. So it's also for us a discovery of a journey through this space. There is a time schedule in 3 blocks, which you find in the program. I'm not going to introduce all of that right now. Let me say that in between the blocks there is also snacks available, so you can actually continue the conversation informally in between. Please switch off your cell phones if you haven't done that yet. And we'd like to thank the Kai Theatre and the Kai Theatre team, as well as Damaged Goods and Buddha Art Center, co-producers, to make this day possible.